What is it? Are we doing leg day? Of course, never skip leg day.
I did legs this morning,
Oh,
and I didn't have enough time to do the upper
you're doing
body, so I
two.
usually just
You're
do
doing
like a
two a
full
days.
body.
My goodness.
Not trying to, but because time did not permit
Uh,
me, I will now do 2 a days today. God, I did 2 a days when I was in high school, and I had to take the bus because everyone was working, and I'd fall asleep in the bus, and it'd just go around, and I just missed my
oh no.
like one of them. And I don't know why. I felt an immense sense of guilt that I just quit the football team
Uh,
after like that happened. So
Immense sense of guilt is the subtitle of my autobiography in the future for sure. Catholic school, 14
Mm.
years. They get you.
Mm-hmm.
It'll never escape.
hey, that's me too. uh, it's Catholic school, something else.
Yeah, yeah.
Entirely.
Mm-hmm.
There's this idea that you're supposed to be like this. Like everyone's like, oh, they're saintly, they're good. I'm like,
Well, no, mine was like, especially when I hit high school. I mean, like it was just rich kids. So it was like,
yeah,
and I was
yeah,
the poor kid on
exactly.
scholarship.
Mhm.
And I was like, yo, your guys' lives are wild. What is going on right now? It's
Yeah.
like,
Just like you have a circular staircase
Yeah.
that goes up at
Mhm.
your entryway.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where you put your Christmas tree that's like 15 feet high. Oh,
I'd get phone calls from my friends. They'd be like, "Hey, like, you want to go on my like parents' sailboat?" I'm like, "Joe, yeah, sure. Like, why are you inviting me? But yeah, let's do it." You know what I mean? Like, what is sailboat? Are you kidding me? What the hell?
it's, yeah, different
Sorry. Yeah.
demographics
I know.
entirely.
Yeah. Sorry to get distracted there, but
No, it
it
listen,
follows the
this is gonna,
immense sense of guilt is.
yes. All right. Well, you know what? Let's get started. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. My name's Adrian,
And I'm Alex.
and today we're with Rene. Welcome, Rene.
That's me. Hi. How's it going?
Yay.
Rene does interview and actual plays, and has a one-page free RPG,
Mhm.
One Last Quest.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything I can do with RPGs, I just kind of like made it happen as part of one podcast feed. I could play. I could talk to people. I can make games, and maybe a few people will play them. Who knows? Yep.
100%. I mean, like, interacting within this space has been so fun, and just like the way people have come across it and how much they put into their work, it's so amazing.
Yes, I envy those who can make their stuff look good because for as busy as I am, recording episodes and chatting with people and trying to make my own games, they mostly sound like, yeah, he threw that together in a week.
I mean, I'm
You know what?
that's my deal.
It don't
I
matter.
got the,
You know,
It don't matter.
I'm really good at selling myself, as you can tell. That's my forte. Um,
no, yeah.
I mean, you're doing all the stuff on the feed. Like, if you're just creating the art is being created, like, then send it out.
Mhm.
And then maybe you'll feel a little bit better about it. Or maybe it's fine and it's good enough and it's being released. Like, it doesn't have to be presented in a specific way.
yeah, I didn't mean to self-deprecate right out the gate, but that's
Listen, Alex will
We'll get you.
stop you and will correct you every single time.
uh,
We'll yell at you. It's a lot. That's why I stopped doing that.
yeah. I need somebody in my life to be like, stop that.
Well, you came to the right podcast.
Little did you know, it's an intervention.
Yeah.
Did
There.
you see the banner?
Wow. The banner. Just pull the string.
Welcome to the recurring
Adrian,
segment.
as much as you want to, if you don't have time, don't animate that.
Animate it. Do
No,
it.
I'm saying that because I want to in the back of my head. I just need to get my permission to say no sometimes.
But it'd be really funny.
Because I want to do all the things, man. I want to be in all the games. I want to hang out with all the people.
Yeah.
Because they're really cool and it's really fun.
Yeah.
And I'm only one of me.
And there's only so much time amidst, like playing your own games and then work and then everything else people got going on. It's like, I want to go to cons this year, and it's like, can I even swing this? Like, time-wise, like, meet people. I want to do it. I want to go out but fingers crossed I can.
Okay.
I think that's the hard part, because then you forget all of the other extra time that goes into it. So we're very con heavy this year, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And then okay, but there's 3 days beforehand that I'm stressing out about packing, and then there's the week and a half behind it of I need to rest from all of the over peopling, and then I need to unpack. And then unfortunately regular life still happens too. So I went out of town for my own friendships and purposes, and I was like, cool, I just am constantly packed. Everything is just, and then I'm moving. So I think if we remember, things have to happen afterwards, because it's hard.
Yeah, a 3-day pass turns into a 10-day 10-day process, right?
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, I wish I was under 20 again. Not under 20. I wish I was 20.
Oh,
In the 20. Not under 20.
That's so youthful.
Yeah, great. I'd love to say that too and be 20. Yeah, I'd love to be 20 again, but man, was I really going nowhere fast at 20?
Oh man, I say that. I agree with you.
Really hit my stride during the pandemic, where everybody also halted.
Yeah.
And just oh, okay, we're all on the same page now.
I recently talked to somebody, and that's so true, though. I mean, the pandemic, as absolutely terrifying and terrible as it was, did a lot for people just either taking chances to start playing games or finding games online, and because the pressure was off, getting together in person, traveling, whatever it may have been that you needed to do. I mean, the explosion of online games, it's like anything else. In grad school, I did a lot of research on invasive plant species, and people don't like to talk about the positives of bad things. Do you know what I mean? The good things that come of bad things. And I remember I was at a conference one time, presenting my research, and I said something along the lines of worst case scenario, it does take over this whole area. It will hold the marshes better against erosion. And somebody came up to me afterwards and was just never say the good thing about a bad species. And we're oh, okay, this terrible invasive species that's ruining biodiversity. Don't give it any credit. I'm sorry. So the good thing that comes out of COVID, right? Yeah, well now more people are playing games though. It's yeah, well,
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not you get to ignore everything,
right?
Or you should ignore oh, this terrible thing happened. The reality is this terrible thing happened, and also life happened as well, and what we did to survive the boredom, survive the disconnect with people around us, the things we reacted to in which to kind of fill the time void.
Yeah, and it didn't really replace that face-to-face interaction, the social interaction part of it. Really, you're right. As much as we could say, I'm playing games online with my friends, it's alone in a room, in front of a camera, in front of my computer.
As long as I stare at the computer, everyone's with me. As soon as I turn around, I'm alone.
Yeah.
I think that's okay though. I you know what? I say that it's okay because I have a very distinct memory of college, of talking about specifically cancers and diseases, and some very sad college student in my class was oh, it's so terrible and horrible, and then I turn around, I was there's a purpose for that though. It is to thin out the population, it is to make sure that we don't have and she was how dare you? And I was I get it, but my dude, they're all there for a purpose. And I think about that event quite often because I was am I the asshole in that moment of pointing out the these things have purposes?
Especially coming from a bio background like I do, it's really, it's really hard to have that conversation where you're disconnected from being a member of the human race and looking at us like an animal species. You know what I mean? Because really, if you think about it, wow, did we mess this planet up as an animal species, right? And yeah, we have this higher level of thought and awareness and everything like that. But in the end, yeah, it's hard to look at, again, as a biologist, ecosystems have carrying capacities. The planet has a carrying capacity, and we are doing everything we can to keep people alive as long as we can, and like it will be a problem. But yeah, there's always. You're right. It's like you can't take anything in isolation because then you miss the point of. Again, I have a very, and even on my podcast, I can't help but play RPGs and be like, let's talk about this biome because it's interesting, or like let's talk about like, you know what I mean.
The hyperfixation comes out.
Yeah, but also like everything is interaction, right? Like it, between humans playing a game, there's interactions between your shared experiences, but like people on this planet doing anything, like there is an ecological interaction that like had to take place in order for you to have this resource to do this thing, or like you doing this thing is impacting a resource. And I don't know, like I think of that a lot, and that's not just because I'm in the business of, well, not business. I do, environmental protection. It's like, please, leave some of this. We are going to need it. Anyway, yeah.
No. AI is life.
AI is. Oh man. Yeah. I try not to say anybody has an objectively wrong take, but no.
But that one. Fucking trash.
So bad. So bad.
No.
No, totally. I mean, I think it is interesting, like the interactive ability of, not even just like to like you had to have a resource to come to this part where you're interacting with somebody, but like even within the interaction between just the human to human, which goes into my domain, which is I got a degree in psychology.
Yeah.
Fucking nerd.
Nerds. No, listen. I embrace the nerd. Tell me all about it.
But it's just like everyone's kind of like a little puzzle piece, and some people work together, and some people don't, and that's okay. And it's not like you, as much as you'd love for all your friends to just like hang out with each other, so you don't have to make that decision. People aren't compatible all the time, and they have different lived experiences, and they're just like not gonna vibe, and that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, as an analogy, it works because they're a different part of the picture, but like it's all one big picture, right? Yeah. Agreed. I've had that where I've tried to like bring two gaming groups together, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be great, and then it's like one person, and I'm like, oh, they are not going to play well together. Like, I actually have to like separate some like different friend groups.
Yeah.
The crossover episode doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just for ratings, and it didn't work.
I get stressed out with a crossover episode. I
Really?
don't like when because then I'm like, am I so I do it the opposite. I've got the anxiety that immediately comes up. It's like, am I a fake person? Do I act like this all the time? Do I only act like this with one group of people and then I have a whole different personality? So then I second guess myself, and then I'm like, am I a narcissist? Like, am I a real person? I don't like the crossover episodes at all, ever. Nope. They stress me out.
You have
Keep
to like,
everybody
look
in their little
inside
places.
yourself about like who you actually are.
Yeah, now I'm gonna like critically think about how I'm acting in different groups now, and be like, oh no, Alex was right.
I mean, I do, and I have that like that trauma of like shifting personalities within like a group. So I do have that because it kept me safe and the neurodivergence and stuff. And like, I also like being useful. So like, yeah, I'm going to shift a little bit between people. But when they all cross over, I'm like, who am I? What have I done? Am I always this obnoxious? Like, has always
The
like
answer
this?
is yes. I'll just tell you right now.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And the people who love you will love you. And that's how that works. Yeah, that's the other thing you got to get over.
Okay.
What con are you wanting to go to, and why did you feel like that's the con you're gonna jump into this whole thing for?
Yeah, I've really only ever done like small local cons. I really want to go to PAX Unplugged. I think that seems like a good one.
Yeah, come meet us in PAX Unplugged.
I'm part of a group that we started streaming together 2021-ish, like, pretty early in the or I guess mid mid-pandemic lockdown, all that. And they get like most of them go every year, and I'm always just like, oh, like, and that was like I just had my son, so it was like, yeah, well, can't, I'm not abandoning wait for the newborn and going to game for 4 days, 3 days, whatever. So I've yet to go to that, and that also seems like a big one to jump in. PAX Unplugged seems like big, but not unbearably big. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
So that'd be one. And Metatopia, if that's still happening. Every time I try and look into like, is Metatopia happening? I have trouble finding it, which is like a playtest con. It's basically a bunch of game designers being like, this isn't out yet, but help me test it out. And I'm like, ooh, that cool. Seems right up my alley. Like, can I just nerd out? Excuse me, you want to talk mechanics? Can we talk about how you're,
These fucking mechanic nerds.
I mimed it and then you did it.
Yeah, it was just that like you did it and then I noticed, it's slightly off. I have to touch it now. Listen, I just started wearing glasses again because I lost my other pair, but
yeah, but now you can like catch the light just right and do that anime like shing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Just gotta.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he's gonna say something brilliant.
If only I had something to say that was brilliant.
All right, so Rene, you have one pager. Do you have any other games that you're working on? Do you have anything like that you're writing on the back end?
Yeah,
that you haven't released yet?
As somebody who strives to play a lot of different games, like, and even my podcast, my APs, I'm on my second Ironsworn Sundered Isles season, only because really enjoy Ironsworn as a solo game. I mostly do solo APs. I made One Last Quest, which is my one-page lasers and feelings hack. Basically, it was my I've run into this a few times, especially as somebody who likes to introduce people to games, or try and wash a bad taste out of your mouth of a previous experience, kind of thing. So I made this game called One Last Quest. It's a lasers and feelings hack where you basically play elderly versions of characters you've played before. And that could be because the campaign ended. It can be because it fizzled out and you never really got to explore this character's story, or maybe they died, like your character died in the campaign, and you're like, man, there was so much cool stuff I wanted to do with that character. And by being like, one, revisit this character you loved. Two, they've done their adventures. You can just tell me how awesome they were. Like, what legendary ass item do you own? Because that's cool. But you don't get to play them at their prime. You get to play them when they are retired and they have been kicking their feet up for a while, and then something from their past comes back and they're the only ones who can handle going to fix it. Thematically, I was like, this works. I like this. In practice, I think it works pretty well. If you're running lasers and feelings, you got to kind of be loosey-goosey with it. So
yeah,
it's all of one page front and back. So it's simple. It kind of leans on knowing who the characters people are bringing to the table are, so you can lean into those things. But yep, that one's I enjoy that one. That one's free. And I do have another game out called Mech, which is a carved by Rune game. Again, this one's a solo game, based on Rune and Reap by Spencer Campbell, aka Gila RPGs. And that one is a solo mech versus kaiju game. Basically, you're a pilot of a huge mech, and cities come under attack by these dormants that are waking up after humanity has failed to keep their promises, and they're they're just taking revenge out. So you have to protect them, and so that's out with a basic city, adventure in it. And I was supposed to, as of yesterday, release 2 new cities, which are done being written, but I have to just finish the layout. I've had a crazy few weeks and they're slightly delayed, but they'll be out soon. And that game is $5, but it's also currently in the TTRPGs for Trans Rights Ohio bundle, which is $5 for an obscene amount of itch games. 467th on the list is mine. So,
it's there.
Yeah, it's there. And but so you can buy it and a lot of other games for the same amount of money, and to support a good cause. So do that instead. Don't give me the money. Don't go buy it in the charity bundle, like, please.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And I do have other games in development because I never stop thinking of things where I'm like, I don't think that exists. sure, I'm dumb enough to try and doing it myself. And because I like to play a lot of games, I also try and always change the mechanics of it. Like, I won't be a designer who's like, this is my system. All my games will use this system. It's going to be like here's my card game. Here's my D6 pool game. Here's my D20 game. Here's, you know what I mean? Like, I want to do that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I want to, so without talking forever, after I put out these mech cities, I do have a solo or preferably 2-player game I'm going to be releasing soon called, currently called Detectives, where it's a 2-player buddy cop TTRPG that uses a deck of cards. I'm not, for the record, and so you know how I feel, the subtitle probably not going to actually be the title of this game is All Cops Are Buddies. So, but who doesn't
in this game?
who doesn't love a buddy cop?
I think it's understandable. I as a ACAB
yep
agreer.
Yeah.
I do have a special place in my heart for like Reno 911.
Great, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I love Nathan Fillion, so unfortunately I am hooked on The Rookie.
Oh, is The Rookie any good? That's what I didn't even start. Okay.
No. I'm just supportive of my man.
Yeah, that tracks.
I am supportive of my man. And my former partner was like, they're just dealing with bombs the whole time. And I'm like, no, it's not like that. It's not bombs every day in LA. And then
kind of is.
The rose tint was removed from my glasses, and I was
after
like,
the 5th bomb, I was like, okay, maybe just a little.
There's so many bombs in LA.
Bombs?
There's so many bombs. There's so many serial killers. Like, how many serial killers do you think we should expect? How many people need to be kidnapped at this point?
What's a serial killer to bomb ratio in this show?
Right now, we've got like 2 reoccurring serial killers, but the bombs there's plethora of bombs. It really is almost every other episode that there's some sort of bomb situation. Why?
Yeah, that's a great
question. The writer's got 1 speed and 1 speed only.
Right. To be fair, as I've been developing this game, basically, I kind of want like everything to just be generated from the cards, almost like oracles. So it's like, at the beginning of the game, like flip the top card, like that's the crime. Consult this like 52 crime list, right? And then I was like, that's really hard to make a 52 crime. Like, like 52 crimes is a lot of different crimes to like carry a episode of a buddy cop show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna hit the one that's just like, like tax fraud. You're gonna be like, that's not a fun episode. We're not gonna do that one. You know what I mean? Like,
jaywalking.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where like, I get it, but you could definitely find more than just bomb. I think. Excuse me while I jot down bomb threat.
All spades are bombs now.
All clubs are bombs is really funny. It's just a bomb. That's.
There are different types of bombs. Like we've had a car bomb. We've had like
so you
backpack bombs.
She's defending the bomb plot.
Yeah, the bomb allegations for Rookie.
They're all bombs.
Yeah. Oops, all bombs. That's a different.
Oops, all bombs.
That's a different game. But also, maybe a really fun one-shot game. Oops, all bombs that's got potential for chaos one-shot energy for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
What should it have? What should have it? What should it be? What should have it been? What am I trying to say? Am I literally having a stroke?
Are you out, dude?
I think. What?
You smell tourist?
I don't smell anything right now. My allergies are killing me.
It's taking the nose
instead
already.
Then if it's bomb, like oops, all bombs, then what should it have been? There it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A buddy cop show.
I actually love the idea of like it's just system setting, whatever. It's setting agnostic. It's oops all bombs, setting agnostic, and basically it's like a roll for shoes game. But basically any failure is like you found a bomb, and then it's like oh god, like get away, and then like you just keep rolling to like succeed at something, like get away from the bomb. Did you succeed? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. You got out of the bomb radius. Until the next time, it's like. you were still trying to go to the zoo or something. It's like, oh, right, the zoo. And then it's like, oh, like, cool. Roll to get that animal's attention so you can have a short, brief connection with this. Oh, you failed? Oh, there's a bomb at the zoo.
You defuse the bomb and you're rolling to get out of here. There's a smaller bomb inside the big bomb.
We're just getting full like Looney Tunes with it, you know. All of them have Acme on it. It's definitely
yeah, exactly. You stamped out the fuse. Great. Yeah. It's raining fire,
and
the bombs are now very bad.
There's a meta currency where you can just spend it once per game, and all you get is the little bang, like a bang flag comes out, you know.
We've got we're almost there.
We did
it.
Somebody's right there.
Somebody make this game.
It's us. It should be us.
Yeah. It should be us. You have until this episode gets out.
Yeah.
Alex, do it now.
Oops, all bombs.
Oops, all bombs. Everything is just a bomb.
Yep.
If you really think about it, telomere cells are like bombs.
The bomb was inside you. That's a twist in this game. The
bomb was inside us.
You are the
ticking
bomb.
is coming from the inside.
My ticker stopped ticking.
You were the bomb the whole time. Then it becomes like this really like somebody's going to try and argue that this is actually like a really insightful game about like you know, composure.
There's problems that we see in society. Mm-hmm. Everyday tasks seems like we're diffusing situations all the time.
Yep.
See, look, it writes itself.
Yeah. The trauma is like your fuse length.
Yeah.
So like if you have a lot of trauma, then maybe you have a shorter fuse than if someone is in their privilege, they have a longer fuse.
Yeah.
Instead of spoons, we have fuses. Sorry, I'm.
Yeah. Listen,
you're on fire.
No brain.
Clearly, the game is you know it warrants this deep level of discussion. Oops, all bombs is deeper than it looks. You know. But yeah.
I think this is something that we write and then release it seriously, and I think those who get it will really get it. And I think those who just don't, they won't. But I think it'll be something
it's like art.
Yeah,
like modern art.
You know what? It does feel like modern art, like this modern TTRPG art.
Yeah, because where are we at now? Like in our life, where we're just like, I have to make a new game, and I've ran out of ideas. Oops, all bombs. 2.
The sequel, right? Yeah.
The sequel, you just throw more dice. We just double the dice, and that's the only difference.
Oh,
I
just think we changed the formatting. I think we changed the font.
It's the exact same game, word for word. But you just you just make it really visually difficult. It's like the House of Leaves of RPGs. You know, it's in order to read the rules of this book, you need to turn the pages, consult this footnote. There's actually like a hole in this page.
Why does that sound? Oh yes, okay, that's why it sounded familiar.
Oh,
okay,
that book, reading that book is an experience. But you know, it's fine.
It's like yeah. I've seen it. It is just wild.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
Honestly,
I'm not gonna. My brain wouldn't.
Yeah, it took me. I read a lot, and that one took me a long time to get through. Not just because of the format of it. And like, here's the thing. Sorry to get off topic. Author, I have 2 books by him. I know he has a couple others at this point. But I got that when I was in grad school, so like a decade ago. But so House of Leaves, yeah, like format wise, really interesting. And there is probably something in there that people could make something really cool with an RPG. But the concept of like, the house is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, and then you find like, you know, an endless hallway in your house, and like it's creepy, it's spooky, it's fun. I have another book by him that I think is really cool, where it's the same story from 2 points of view. So you read it, and on the page it reads down like a normal page, but when you get about 3/4 of the way down the page, there's a much smaller like writing, but you have to flip the book over to read it. And it's actually the end of the other story. So
Oh.
as you progress through the book in one direction, the story on the page gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and the other story gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So like you're supposed to read it like 10 pages at a time in one direction, flip it, go to the end of the book, start the other story at the end of the, you know what I mean? It's really weird. The author really likes to just mess with format, like physical format of a book for stories. And you know what? There might be something about messing with TTRPG formats like that.
Yeah. We keep trying to change the game to like to work within our means, and sometimes you just got to flip it on its head. It's like, no.
Playing the game is a challenge, actually. Actually, let me turn this around. Where do you guys fall on the reading the game is playing the game take?
Huh.
Like reading the game is play.
I don't.
Just the reading of it?
Some people really contend that like that qualifies as playing a game, right? Like reading it to think about how to run it if you're going to be the GM, or reading it to think about how you want to play your character. That's still engaging with the game in a way that can be considered play.
I think it could, but I feel like as play, you have to have a higher understanding of what you're getting to. Like, I feel like it's a job at first for those who do not understand it. Like reading the first page of a TTRPG and you just like don't know what's into it.
Yeah.
That's work. And then once you kind of understand the basics of what TTRPG is and how you can manipulate, and you start to get these ideas, you start to like, oh, I could do this, this, and this. I think then you could consider it play, but I think it's just like you have to have that understanding first before I would be able to say I consider it play.
Yeah.
And I think that can do with anything. Like if I throw a ball at somebody and they don't catch it, are they playing with me, or am I just throwing a ball and being an asshole?
Valid.
If they don't know the rules of it, then it's not play for them. Until they kind of have that base understanding, then everyone can play.
I think it's a conceptual. I don't agree. I don't think reading the game is playing the game. I think you can study it. I think you can conceptualize what would happen if you were set with real people. But I think until you are actually playing with either yourself and like working through it with like a solo RPG or like a GM-less game, maybe. But I don't think you could say that, yes, I've played this game. I think you could say like, yes, I've studied it. You know, and the way that we go to college or we go to school and say, yeah, I know how to do the thing, but like, have I ever done it? No. So I would say I would take a hard no on the reading is not playing the game.
Yeah, I think I just threw it out there because I've heard people say this, and like it is kind of like, you know, you're experiencing again the rules, right? In my opinion, I think that until there's story involved, you're not playing, right? Like, and if reading the game makes you think of potential storylines, like you're storyboarding, like your character arc, and you can communicate that with your GM, or if it's GM lists, like, oh, I'm gonna eventually go to this cool location because this book described something cool. Like, you're getting there, but until you like, until you're playing the getting there, I don't think you're really doing it, right? So yeah, I don't disagree. I just I was curious because I've heard that before, where it's like,
Bro, I'm here 110% for a thought process. Like,
I want to say that, like, with you interacting, how you interact with reading the games, I do feel like it is studying, Alex.
How I do it, like me personally?
Yeah, you have to read it from cover to cover, where I do some of it, and then I'm like, oh, whatever parts I need, I'll get to later, and I understand the basic concepts, and I just kind of roll with it.
That's where I'm at.
At that point, I have a loose concept of what already needs to do for play to happen with my other players. Like I've already started to interact and put in my own ideas within this thing.
I think I, at one point in my life, felt like I could do that the way that you look at games and you look at stories, I think I could have say that I was comfortable doing that. understanding the actual real life application of how my neurodivergence affects me and my memory, I disagree. I do much better work when I have time to chew on things. My ADHD wants to say like, from the hip, yeah, I can do it. Like, oh yeah, I'm great. I can improv. But when I feel most proud of my work is when I have had time to sit and think about, and I have to give myself the time. I do the same thing in like lesson writing. If I do something off the cuff, I'm like, oh yeah, that was cool. But I feel most fulfilled when I have had the time to sit and think about it and like process it. So yeah, I might have when I was young, but
us and our naivete, Adrian. No, I don't. I think that's accurate. I'm the kind of person who, it honestly, it's funny. I've had both experiences where, like, for some campaigns, I am meticulous in my Google Drive of like notes and like prep and thinking about like how important each like set piece is, and then I have like a lunch game at my work where like they send a message in our like our company's messaging thing, and they're like, "We on for today?" And I'm like, "Oh snap, sure, yeah." And I just go upstairs and I'm like, "Where were we? What do we do?" And we just wing it. And I'm like, "Man, that came out really cool." But then I'm like, I don't remember the details. You know what I mean? And like that makes me feel like, as good as it is, like I kind of wish I thought of how to like do it better. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's fair.
I think that fulfillment part, like,
yeah, it totally changes how and why you want to prep in the first place and read and yeah.
I like that. Oh, hey, do you want to get into our thought argument experience that we have it's been like the past 2 or 3 episodes, I think.
Oh, keep it rolling.
Okay. Less of a thought, more of a preference. We're talking about rolling dice.
Okay.
If you roll consistently bad and you feel like it's messing up the experience within the game, do you lie to your players and say, actually, this is what happens?
Oh,
lie about the rolls.
As a GM, do I fudge rolls? Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a wishy-washy answer. It definitely depends on the game we're playing, right? I have a long-time home group that loves their tactical battles, and they're like, we started in D&D. We're doing Pathfinder 2e right now. Like, I think the next game we're gonna play is like some other like pretty crunchy thing, which is like very far from what I enjoy the most. But they're like my closest friends, and I'm like, yeah, if this is what they're like, and like I know the stakes are low for like their expectations of like so I think in that one I'm not afraid to fudge a die roll to make things more interesting. But for the most part, like when I'm playing solo, I'll never lie. If anything, I'll lie to fail more because it's more fun for me to like put my characters in real rough situations. When I'm playing with other people, I actually like rolling in front of everybody, so I can't lie. Like most of the time, like no screen, just here it is. This is what you're gonna see, and because I prefer narrative games, sometimes I'll even like, oh well, like you're about to get smacked, and like the dice are gonna say a number or whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, I try not to. But if I do, I usually err on the side of just being more dramatic and not. So I've had the terrible experience of killing a PC in like a random encounter.
Oh.
And it felt so, and it wasn't even like they should not have died, but like I just rolled stupid high on the damage, and we looked down, and like the spell that they cast said like if this brings somebody to 0 hit points, like, or like it was D&D 5e, it was Cone of Cold. There's some language within that spell that says something along the lines of like if this happens, like they're frozen, they shatter, they die. And I was like, oh, bummer. Like
I read that after the
like,
fact.
Oh no, right? And like normally I would narratively justify whatever, and like that's a situation where I wish I fumbled. Like I wish I fudged my die or whatever. But for the most part, I think it's a trust thing. I have not given a straight answer. I'm so sorry.
That's
yes,
fine.
No,
how about
I
this?
think it's
Yes,
interesting.
I'll fudge dice. Yes, I'll fudge dice for
I
more
think it's
dramatic.
interesting that in the crunchy game, in the game where you are actually like working through the numbers, is the time that you would fudge the roll. Like that is the time that you would lie to your players. The loosey goosey, you would probably not, which is I think fascinating to think about too. Like I would lie to these players who really care about the numbers, but then in the narrative, we're sticking to it. Like that's interesting.
Yeah, you're right. Because the crunchy game kind of invites the whole point of it is like there's rules for everything. Like,
Yeah.
no excuses. Read the number, right? But yeah, I guess I don't know. It just feels like I think it's because I prefer narrative consequences to number consequences. So in a numbers game, I'm happier fudging for more interesting narrative. But again, that's because of what I prefer. Even in the solo games I play a lot of Ironsworn, which basically like for any miss, it's always like you can just take harm, or you can like lose supply, or you can lose spirit. And it's always like that's the way less interesting failure than like something else shows up to come really make life difficult. You know what I mean? So like I wish in crunchy games there was something more like that I could just be like, instead of taking that 64 damage that was gonna kill you, like instead like they call a friend and now there's two of them to deal with. You know what I mean? But yeah. I've never thought about how that does not. It should be the other way around, I think. But...
I mean, it's your game. Whatever you feel like your players trust you, whatever feel like is more kind of that give and take within your roles. And you're like, yeah, I think this just should happen.
Yeah,
your call.
Yeah, I think it's a trust thing with your players, right? But again, if you're rolling in front of them, no one can really look and be like, that didn't happen. Do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I had that actually happen.
Have you?
Well, I was playing a character and I was rolling physical dice and I was rolling online dice, and my GM was just like, no, you've missed like 3 or 4 hits in a row. You roll again. And I'm like, okay. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
I just have bad luck, and that's why I'm okay with throwing a bunch of stuff and not lying about my dice, because the truth is my dice suck and my rolls suck, and every now and then I'll get a 20, but like it's like hitting below 10, and I have like 1 or 2 players that are like a 16 AC and a 20 AC, and I'm just like, you keep running to the front, and I keep forgetting you have high AC.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just trying to hit you because you're running at me, and it makes sense in my head until I do it. It's not like everybody knows about your 20 AC in the game. Not until you have a reoccurring villain, but like right now I'm just like, because I don't remember things that often, I'm just like, oh yeah.
Why was I going to you?
Yeah, I thought this was gonna work.
Right. and like you could, I mean, again, that could be a funny scene, right? Where like something runs up to you that'll never get past your plate armor and like just bonks you, and we just like gong. But it's like that was a waste of a turn. You know what I mean? Like where I could have hobbled the wizard over there, who is easier to hit, but
who looks very squishy.
Yeah, exactly.
And not as shiny.
Yep. Yes.
I think my hot take is because I'm like, girl boss, gatekeep, like, I think you should
gaslight.
There it is. Thank you.
Gaslight your players.
Gaslight your players.
Yeah.
Consensually.
Right.
I think we have to add on, right?
Yes.
I assumed consent, but we are verbally speaking consensually gaslight your players.
Hey, one of my favorite books ever is Harrow the Ninth. I don't know if you guys have ever read the Locked Tomb series. No,
not yet.
Okay, well, if you're planning on it, I will. No spoilers, but that book is effectively just gaslighting the reader the entire time, and it's a really interesting experience. We're like, it's the second book in a series, so you read the first book and you're like, I think I finally figured out something about how this works, and then the second book starts and it's just like, just picks up and like just presents everything, and it's like, this is happening, and you're like, wait a second, none of this makes any sense. Like, I read the first book, right? Like, I'm not crazy, right? Like, what is going on? You have to get through that whole book to be like, oh man, messing with me this whole time. The whole time. So yeah, consensually gaslighting your characters can make for a very interesting situation.
Yeah. I can't lie to my characters.
No, you can't lie to your players. Yeah.
It's hard for me.
I'll
exclude information, okay? Adrian, is this happening? I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I can't tell you. Like, I try to be coy and like...
Then it just poker face.
It just comes out.
Yeah.
But because we have this trusting relationship, I have to tell you I do. But I must not tell you now.
I'm guilty of as players we know this, as characters you don't. And then it's like, you just took the fun out of it, man. And like, I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't keep a secret, I can't do it.
Yeah, that fine line of like telling them the cool thing and then also not ruining the mystery behind it. It's like, I spent a little bit of time and I want you to see this thing. They're like, you could have kept that behind the doors. I'm like, okay, next time.
A little longer, right? Yeah, like, yeah, no, keep that secret. I can't do it, you know?
Yeah, it's so cool. Look at it. It's my new dice. Yeah. How did you get into the TTRPG space?
I was surprised. Like, basically, my now wife, we went on a trip with her best friend and her then husband. And basically, I was like in emo metal bands and like all this stuff. We were like, I was like, but again, I was like a lonely, when I was like a teenager, I was like playing like 80-hour RPG, like JRPGs, like that was my jam. So like I had the prep work done for understanding and loving tabletop role-playing games, but none had never been like presented to me as an option. And we went on this trip and he was like, this is a long shot, guys, but he's like, I brought this playtest, and it was D&D Next, which was the playtest material for pre-5e. And he was like, I really want to try this. Do you guys mind like playing this game with me? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but sure. And we sat down and we played it, and the second we started playing, I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is oh my, I didn't know I could do this. Like, this is making my own video game, like, and like then, absolute open the gates. I was gone forever. Like, just dove so deep in. But honestly, and people always assume this, I wrote my wife into playing now, but like, I wouldn't have been a nerd if it wasn't for her introducing me to like 3 degrees of separation kind of thing. Yeah. And now I'm a forever GM and will never stop buying different games and systems. And yep, I'm fully in.
Hooked. What was that first character?
Oh man, so I actually do this all the time, and I recently in one of my recent episodes on my feed, and on an episode I did with somebody else, there's another podcast where basically it's like characters you haven't gotten to the table, and I always make a Mog is the name of my first character. Final Fantasy IX Moogle named Mog.
Isn't that the one with the little antenna?
Yep.
Little
Oh yeah.
red. Okay.
Oh
okay.
yeah, gotcha. Moogles are adorable. So I always make like a little gnome-sized, just little knowledge goblin, basically, because I can kind of make that in like any game I want. So every game I get, if I do character creation, if there's character creation in it, I'll make a Mog. And that's always like the first character I make with anything. But the first one I made was a gnome druid, and that felt right for my outdoorsy nerd stuff. So, yeah,
that feels right. Yeah, it makes sense for you. Yeah, the environmentalist and the yeah. Yep. Okay. You know what?
Yep.
I can't fight that. I can't.
Yeah, don't want to cause any trouble. So I'm a small race.
There's really. I think that's the first time, Adrian, that we've heard somebody say a character that I'm not like, let's talk about this childhood trauma that we're like releasing. I really like that was
Mog.
Rene, I really don't have anything to say against that. Like I
think
Mog.
You've released nothing. Nothing to us.
An immense sense of guilt. As we said. Yeah. I think the first one, because in the D&D Next playtest, I think that the druid I think they had an animal companion in that one, which was like very reminiscent of like 3.5 and 4e druids, as opposed to like wild shaping. And then before 5e came out, I played 3.5 with a friend, so I played another druid. I just kept Mog, and I made him again, and he had a big old wolf that he rode on. And then my GM didn't kill my PC, he killed my wolf, and I was like, how dare you? Like, what a monster you are, you know? And my character, because I was like, I'm going deep into this, like there was like lore at some point where basically it's like gnomes like suffer this thing called bleaching, where like if they like lose the will to live, it's like the only way they like age and die. And I was like, my Mog just bleaches, and he was like, no, dude, don't do that. I was like,
fucking bleaching out, man.
There he goes. So yeah, I always make a Mog, and I like to make nerds. Like even my druid, like it wasn't about knowledge, but it was about like, and this is my advice for people when they start making characters. It's like always make your character and like write down anywhere, because this is never something that I see in games, and like I'm trying to figure out a way to put it into games that I'm going to make, especially bigger ones that I plan on making down the line. I want there to be like what question is your character trying to answer in this world? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just like straight up, like write down the question that is like the core theme of your character, right? And I think that would help inform a lot of people's like understanding of how you'll react in certain situations better than like, well, my background is acolyte, and my, you know what I mean, like, and my personality trait is, you know, whatever.
And I love gold.
Right, and like that's not a bad way to do it.
Right.
But I mean, like, if you write down like, you know, what is the acceptable amount of like habitat loss? Like that's my druids, right? It's just like, at what point am I going to burn down the city? You know what I mean? Like, at what point do like they take too much and I must strike back? You know, I don't know.
How much gold is too much?
Yeah, that's
gold.
the rogue, right? Yeah, like yeah. When is Mo money actually Mo problems?
Yeah. I see. That makes an immense amount of sense, and it yes, that there are tools to kind of form your character, but having that driving purpose versus like, this is what describes them, what describes the journey you're about to go into, with like that question.
Yep.
I think is a good factor. And you know, some people are like, it's just a one shot, it's whatever. And then I know others who are like, it's a one shot, I have a minimum of 3 pages. Okay.
Yeah. One of my forever players in my home group, like, he will always make the character that is like aiming to self-sacrifice. Like, that is his goal in the campaign, is like, find me the moment I can just be like, it's my time, everybody leave, I die now. And it's like, dude, come on. But like, we've had a few like really epic moments where it's like, we know it's coming, and like it's become a joke now where it's just like, is this the battle where he does it? You know what I mean? Like, so like his question could be something like, you know, what, you know, when is it time, you know, like, you know. Or I have another friend who loves to play characters who want to be tempted to be like I'm on the bad guy's side now. Like, they love playing that character that like has a weakness for like sympathizing with the villains. And I love that one too. Like, this all started, like, I was listening to, have you guys ever listened to Epic the musical? You ever heard of that?
Yes.
My sister-in-law's
yes.
was the whole listen party and everything.
Yeah.
So.
I only recently discovered it, and I was like, holy shit, this is good. But there's like a recurring question where it's like, when does a man become a monster? And I'm like, man, I want to just play that character. Like, I want to play, like, I want to explore that in a campaign. Like, I want my character to make bad decisions a lot. And like, at what point does like everyone around them look and just go like, you're not on our team anymore? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that just seems like a really fun, and not because I want to do terrible things, but like, it seems like a very
not because I want to be a dick to my party members.
No, just... but like, and like, again, like, I don't think I'd be making the decisions like to affect my party members. Like, I want to be presented with those opportunities where it's like, you don't have a good choice here, but like, you know, one of these is going to piss off one side more than the other, and like, just always pick the ones that like put you on edge with like your supposed like friends, right? Like, I don't know. It seems like a really interesting making hard decisions that don't make people happy but might actually be the better choice in the long run, like that sucks to have to be on the hook for that, like I don't know. That seems like a not that I'm a forever GM, so I never get to play characters, but like when I do, those are the awful things I come up with, right? Yeah.
I do that question when you said it. When does a man become a monster? Kind of remind me of this book. Oh, I can't even think of the name. It's like this is anthology of like stories about animals, and not like it's all fictitious. Mm-hmm. So like this pigeon that flew a message from one end of a battlefield to another during like World War I and things like that. And then there was this one that talked about like Saint Francis and this wolf, mm-hmm. and there was like Saint Francis couldn't, because he was so holy, he didn't like anything that was like good for him. So like if he started to taste something good, he'd put ash in his mouth. If he felt good about something, he'd throw himself into a bush. So like just to have that saintly kind of like, I can't, there's worldly pleasures I can't have.
Asceticism only.
Yeah. And then there's this wolf that he kind of meets who has been terrorizing the town, and the wolf is like, he hands him food, and just the wolf just kind of eats it up and just walks with St. Francis. And it's like, how much, the quote was like, how much hunger does a dog have, like, does it take for a dog to become a devil, a wolf? Something like that.
Yeah.
So just like those things, like what pushes someone until they kind of like become this other thing,
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't sate the beast, right? Inside you there are two wolves. Oops, one of them's a bomb.
You look to the other.
You guessed it. It's a bomb.
It's a bomb.
It's a bomb. They're always bombs.
Inside you, it's bombs all the way down. Oh, that's great.
We gotta figure this out.
Making a note. Oops, all bombs.
We'll race you to the finish.
Which is it's a bomb.
Yeah, exactly. The finish line. Oh, sorry,
a bomb.
It's a bomb. No matter what. You know what? That's actually, again, I was listening to an interview, or somebody was talking about something where they were like, I really like games that have a clearly defined end, which not a lot of games are open to doing, right? Like solo games do it a lot because like, it's kind of like you're going to journal and like, we know what the end of this is going to be. Like you can't journal this forever, right? Like you have this is the thing you're doing. How you do it is going to be entirely unique, but so there's other, like, I love the idea of having an ending, and not to get again deep about oops all bombs, but like playing a game where it's basically just who can hold out the longest before blowing up is kind of funny. You know what I mean? Like, and the explosions just get more spectacular every time. That's really it.
Yeah, exactly.
How many bombs can you dodge before it's a bomb?
There's the deep question. That's your character's purpose. How many bombs can I avoid before I blow myself up? Yeah.
What is bomb?
Yeah, right?
When you do interviews, how far in advance do you schedule out?
Oh, man.
This is for my own notes.
Honestly, it depends. I've had some people, like, I'm trying to convince people to, like, book out a little further, so it's like closer to something that coincides with something they want to highlight. But honestly, lately, especially this year, so I only started my podcast January of 2024, and half of that first year was me interviewing like the friends I've been streaming with for a few years, right? Being like, tell us your journey, tell us something you're interested or thinking about in TTRPGs. And then it was like a few people were like, yeah, I'll sit down and talk with you. I'm like, oh my God, cool, And I'm already booked through 2025 now, where I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to like double release episodes, because like I don't want somebody to interview with me in April and it doesn't come out till October. Like that feels bad to me. You know what I mean? For them, like I don't want to be like do you remember me? Like, do you remember we talked one time? Here, please hype this
that one
episode
thing
that I
we-
made you wait forever
yeah.
for. So honestly, the average is probably something like 2 to 4 weeks at most, you know. But yeah. And then my turnaround time is varying now at this point, where I'm like, oh gosh,
Life.
yeah. You're doing 2 days at the gym. I'm doing 2 a month at this point for interviews, I think, just to catch up. But yours is much more of a healthy practice than mine.
Listen, I schedule out all of May, and then I'm like, I gotta do it all again for the next month, and I'm like, Alex, any free moment of your time is mine.
Yeah.
Okay, we are just recording forever.
I know you're moving, but I need you for this.
There'll be a period of probably about 2 weeks that I'm gonna be like, I can't. I really can't.
Listen,
but even moving, I'm still technically able to record like before and after the move. Like I could take an hour, where the stuff won't be packed up because it's gonna be the last stuff. This is gonna be the stuff that goes into my car, right? While like it's not going into the van. So, and I'm just as crazy that I would be on the road. If I could, I have been on the road before and recorded.
I think it was like once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a long time.
Challenge accepted, right?
So, but it's one of those things that like I think a lot of us step into. It's when we talk about TTRPGs, it's that the amount of joy, and connection that I'm able to feel, by playing sometimes silly little games of pretend, like they are so profound in my like social and emotional learning that it's worth it. Like it's worth the extra time and effort. I am in the depths of the last month of school, and and we're doing a musical. Like I'm dying right now. My knees and my ankles hurt so bad, but I will choose TTRPGs like every time because they just do so much for so many people.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? Like I've been asking people like, if you can, please schedule out a little further, like closer to where you want it to release if you have something to like promote. But then like, I want to talk to these people. Like I want to talk to them right then. Like I really want to just be like, you know what? Call me. Just like let's do it. Because it's fun to talk to people and like hear where they're at and make those connections. Like, and like you said, if it's interviewing and just talking to somebody, like I'm also trying to do a thing where I'm like reaching out to people a few months later and being like, hey, how you been? If you want, like we could play a game. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be recorded. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, we could be friends.
You know what I mean? Like, but we talked about games, like, you know, and I probably listened to like their podcast or whatever, you know. So it's like, you know, like if you got time, if you ever want or whatever, like, because again, like you said, it really is, and the more people you play with, the more it's like anything else. I was talking to somebody about, I played a city building game with one other person on my podcast, and we were talking about the fact that like you can have what you think is the coolest idea, and if you just throw it out there to somebody else and they take it and they look at it and they go, oh, this is cool, and they say something about it that you never thought of, that idea just got so much better, right? And the more people you can play games with, the more you're going to learn something that you're going to take with you for every game in the future, you know? And that's just, it's, you know, I don't know. I agree. I'll pick them every time. I will make the time.
Oh, yeah. Rene, where can they find you?
My podcast is called RenePlaysGames. RENE. If you call me Rene, you're technically correct, but so for the sake of searching it, RenePlaysGames. Yeah, actual plays, mostly solo. Do some group games, interviews every month, random musings about how to mine media for making your games better. Come check it out. Say hi. Rene Plays Games on most socials, which I'm notoriously bad at, but you know, say hi.
Awesome.
Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. You can find us wherever pods are cast, so be sure to like, subscribe, rate 5 stars, whatever the podcast thing that you do looks like. do the thing. You can also share us with your friends, your family, your enemies to lover, your oops all bomb castmate. I don't know, just share. That's the easiest way that our podcast gets spread. You can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/dungeon&degree. And you can find us on all social medias at Dungeon and Degree. And we will be at Gen Con coming up next. So you can say hi.
Yay.
Yay.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm Rene, or Rene.
Yeah.
Go have some fun.